Bud, kind of like, he convinces me that he's going to win the fight because he's such a believer in his own ability, and he's very convincing. And then you see the presser yesterday, and I thought Canelo looked really well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's a big lump.
He endorsed Crawford to win this fight.
Why is that? What changed?
Because I know Crawford, he's got the heart, he's got the speed, the skills, and he's going to go out there. I was thinking he put up a good first 6 rounds, but then Canelo will start picking it up. But now I think Crawford will go for the. I think Crawford will get. I'm picking Crawford to win now.
Oh, okay. Big weight zone. They just like somebody's got to prove to me they can break Terence Crawford's win and that he can't figure it out against you. Ain't no disrespect to Canelo, but I've said this last couple of years, not betting against Terence Crawford. Nobody. You got to show me what you can do.
The boxing world is sounding the alarm. It may be over for Canelo Alvarez in the lead-up to their fight. Analysts and former champions are increasingly siding with Terence "Bud" Crawford. Undefeated at 41-0. Crawford moves up 2 weight classes from welterweight to super middleweight. If he wins, he will become the first male boxer in the 4-belt era to achieve undisputed status in 3 different divisions. Many insiders believe Crawford's technical brilliance and undefeated record stand in stark contrast to Alvarez's declining output and age, with some boldly proclaiming that the Mexican icon may be entering the twilight of his reign.
Everything is on Terence Crawford's side, all the legacy, meaning he only has the opportunity to win the belts. Saul only has an opportunity to defend them. Terence Crawford has an opportunity to be in a 5 division and the only person to win all 4 belts in 3 separate weight divisions. Why is Saul taking this fight? And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's some things in life more important than just the belts. And that 20-year career that Terence Crawford made, that all that he has, is very valuable. Very, very valuable. He had 1 foot out the game. And if he can be the man to defeat him, because remember, if Saul beats him, Terence Crawford was the first man to get all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. Yes, I beat that champion. Yes, I beat the multiple division champion. And he had
Boxing's elite are rallying behind Terence "Bud" Crawford. Even legends like Floyd Mayweather Jr. praise him as the sport's current pound-for-pound best, applauding his unmatched ring IQ and adaptability. Andre Ward also speaks highly of Crawford's blend of strategic brilliance and elite timing, further strengthening the belief that Bud possesses the tools to dethrone Canelo.
But in terms of his resume, the opponents that he fought, right? If he fought this name and fought that name, where did he fight that name when he fought him? He 32. He coming off 2 losses. He 35. Kovalev, when he fought Kovalev was cooked. He wasn't the crusher. He wasn't the undefeated guy. He had lost that. And I'm not knocking the hustle, but you lose me when you start saying I'm the best fighter in the world. Or you lose me when you feel like you don't have to fight the best, but then everybody else got to fight the best. Canelo is a really good fighter, man. But you don't really know how good you are until you fight the other best. Like even Dimitri Bivol, the dude he lost to. You got to give him credit for going up in weight, but I feel like he miscalculated though.
You got Bud Crawford and Canelo. They're slated to fight in September.
It's going to be an interesting fight. Honestly, it's kind of 50-50 in my opinion. Obviously, Canelo's got the weight and natural size advantage, but Bud's very technically skilled and sharp.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good fight.
Former unified middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik offers a crisp game plan, urging Crawford to apply relentless pressure from the opening bell. Pavlik advises Crawford to control at least 3 of the first 4 rounds to disrupt Alvarez's rhythm and gradually chip away at his stamina. He points out that once Canelo is forced out of his comfort zone, fatigue begins to show around the 7th round. Pavlik also suggests Crawford switch frequently between orthodox and southpaw to keep Canelo guessing, and make the Mexican great feel as though he is always playing catch-up.
Stay Canelo's ass a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol, we've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on, you know, the early rounds and make him have to play catch up in rounds 3, 4, 5. And then by round 7, That's where, you know, he can really step it
Former
up.
two-weight world champion turned analyst Tim Bradley also backs Crawford over Canelo, calling Crawford's skill set comparable to the greatest in boxing history. Bradley praises his speed, power, timing, and adaptability, confident that Bud will succeed even at super middleweight. He even hints at a mysterious secret that gives Crawford the edge, though he refuses to elaborate. For Bradley, this is not speculation but conviction. Crawford's skills and adaptability will overwhelm Canelo, marking a turning point in boxing history.
It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right, you know. They ain't been like, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack's clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, hey, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Victor Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think it's safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they testing, I'm good.
Canelo is so predictable, dude. You know a hook is coming. You know when the right hand is coming. You know he's going down to the body. He gives it away. There's a tail with him. There really is. And it's usually off the high guard. He comes in, he marches forward. Then, Crawford's going to be able to see all of that. He's too knowledgeable inside the ring. His IQ is too high. If he can avoid the shots, avoid the big bum, and not get knocked out, he can outbox Canelo. It doesn't matter. He don't have to knock him out. He can outbox him, outpoint him. So, it's my opinion, boy.
Former two-division champion and trusted analyst Sean Porter echoes those sentiments, emphasizing Crawford's adaptability and precision. However, he admits concern over Crawford's ability to withstand Canelo's power throughout 12 rounds. Porter notes that while Crawford has weathered heavy hitters before, Canelo's relentless pressure, brutal left hook, and ability to camouflage punches present a unique danger. He identifies Alvarez's tendency to slow down in later rounds, suggesting that Crawford must survive the early storm intact to have a legitimate chance.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down. So I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So,
Talk about conditioning. It ain't no secret. We all can look and say, right around 9 rounds is when Canelo starts to really decline, and his punch output, if we look at it, punch output just significantly dives. This fight, what we didn't see from Canelo, because he didn't have to do it, we didn't see him fight in spurts. He's going to fight in spurts against Terence Crawford. Terence is going to challenge him both offensively, defensively, and also not only challenge that, but challenge that gas tank.
That's very much. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to question Crawford. You have to question.
And what do we know about Bud? Bud got it at the end.
ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith also predicts Crawford will outpoint Canelo with superior movement and ring IQ. Speaking on Andre Ward's All the Smoke podcast, Smith boldly declared that Crawford would beat Alvarez by decision. He acknowledges Canelo's greatness and knockout power, but insists Crawford's speed, movement, jab, and ability to switch stances will allow him to outbox Canelo over 12 rounds. According to Smith, Canelo's power is formidable, but outpointing him with technical brilliance and agility remains Crawford's path to victory.
But I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. Boxing-wise, I'm going to give Canelo fits. don't believe he can hurt Canelo. Just believe that Crawford hasn't been in a ring with anybody this powerful. Again, Crawford is a superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off. He says it's a legacy fight, and he believes he can do the same, and he wants to do the same against a fighter the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, which is why we haven't really seen him in the ring against anybody else. Fortunately, that's the business of boxing. He's a victim of it, not a villain.
You got a love for boxing.
Love
Who gonna win the fight? The one that's coming up, the biggest fighter in boxing?
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
What?
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
Power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up fights not ready. He's always
prepared.
Always ready. He's always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movements, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo until he stops. But he ain't. I don't.